Very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Tuesday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Well, as we speak, a game that could be the title decider in the English Premier League is currently going on. Before we came into the studio, it was goalless between Tottenham Hotspur and, of course, defending champions Manchester City. As we go on the show, we will be your eyes and your ears to let you know what's going on right there in London concerning that game. We'll also be looking at the appointment of Finidi George. Of course, not just the appointment, the fact that he has been unveiled as the coach of the Super Eagles. Talk about the terms and the expectations from Nigerians for Finidi George. We'll also talk about the Nigeria Premier Football League. We'll also look at teams still fighting for a few things in the English Premier League. Places in Europe, you have Chelsea, Manchester United, and Newcastle in a bracket, and all for grab is a slot for the Europa League. We'll talk about that even as we move on the show. We will also talk about Mike Tyson. Iron Mike Tyson at 57 is in the news, is going back into the ring. We'll talk about that. And of course, the fight that will decide who becomes the undisputed heavyweight champion is closing in on us. I mean, in a few days, we're going to see that fight. We'll also look at that fight, preview it, and talk about the drama that happened all around that fight. So that's the outlook of the show tonight. I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy what we have on offer. It's a two-man show. My colleague Austin Okonakwan will be joining in, and of course, we'll be taking this trip together. So while we're waiting for him, let me quickly introduce our guest in the Lagos studio. Kehinde Idris joins us now. Kehinde Idris, greetings to you. Thanks for finding out time to be with us on the show tonight.
Tuesday has become like a ritual Tuesday night to be here. So it's always fantastic, to be here. And also following what you just rolled out as the menu, it's super filled, super interesting from the English Premier League too. You mentioned the NPFL, and I'm sure the short story is on Rivers United, who I don't think after this season, they want anything of such happening to them. You're playing teams that are well rested, prior to you playing all of your outstanding games. And then when it comes to boxing, this is where we want to be. There was a time the heavyweight category, Okada, was off. It was all about the lightweight, the middleweight. Now the biggest of boys are doing it in the biggest of ways, and we're loving it.
All right, we're loving it. We're loving it. Interesting times ahead. I'm very sure our people behind the scenes will prompt us if anything has happened. To the best of my knowledge, it's still goalless. The game between Tottenham and, of course, Manchester City. Kehinde Idris, we were able to catch a glimpse. We saw a few minutes of that game. And it does appear that Tottenham, against all expectation, seem to be the one more aggressive.
Yeah, they are turning up, and to everybody's surprise. But if you are very logical and tactical, technical even, you would understand what's happening to Man City. Man City, for the first time since I've been watching them, especially this season, they've had some very poor games. But in this game, they've lost passes. Simple passes to each other have been a serious fault for Man City. And that boils down to one thing. They understand what the magnitude of the game is, and it's getting to them. I was saying it while I was watching. I said to myself, eventually these guys are showing they are human. The coach is also showing he's human. At the point we thought they are robots. It's just fix and then play, and they go on doing what they do every day. But this game showed how Man City, can be also human. But when it's not 90 minutes, if there is one team you should never try writing off, it's definitely our elegant champion in the English Premier League. Talking about the defending champion right now, Man City. But Tottenham are taking the game to them. And also, they've never scored in this stadium under Pep. They've lost 4 in 4. And that tells you in their head, in the coach's head, in the fans' head, there is something that feels like a block. And if you want to break anything that feels like a block or a jinx, it is so hard. Sometimes it might not be that day. Sometimes it might be that day. But if you must do it, it will come so hard. It will never come so easy. And that stadium, it seemed like a jinx to them. So was still following. And you can see how the tail end of the English Premier League had turned things around. Just the weekend past, the entire Man City fan, in their wildest imagination, were fully supporting Manchester United. Just get a draw off Arsenal and we're home and dry. On this day, sworn rivals, enemies, Arsenal fan, the entire family, coach, player, fans, anything, are in full support of Tottenham, because whatever Tottenham does, as long as they take points off Man City today, it will be massive. And already 45 minutes has shown that they are 45 minutes close to getting, their achievement. Right. So we're monitoring. Like you said, probably will get prompted if, we hear anything.
Of course, I know we'll get prompted if anything has happened. And of course, to cut City some slack before we leave this matter altogether, they know they don't need to play well.
Yeah.
They just need to win.
It's as simple.
It's that simple, and maybe that's the reason for the caution. And nothing has happened yet.
Yeah.
For all the industry, for all the energy, for all the passing, all the running around, Tottenham have not scored. And from what you've seen from Tottenham this season, it just takes one error, Romero or any of these other guys, before you know it. But we'll see.
They've shown that in this game
already.
Lost ball in very delicate areas. Just probably the unlock on the side of Man City is why it's still 0-0. So I understand perfectly what you're saying. And sometimes football can be so cruel. 90 minutes is so long. You might do all of the job in 90 minutes, and the extra minutes, those minutes are then maybe 2, 3, 5. The damage will be done. That's how cruel football can be sometimes.
All right, that's how cruel football can be sometimes. But let's talk about something that sounds like sweet music to the ears of a lot of people in Nigeria. A lot of people clamored for it. They called for it. They pleaded for it. Now they have it. Finidi George, now the coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And just in case you were doubting the announcement, now this is a final seal. You see the man signing the contract, a one-year contract. There are a lot of angles to this thing. Some people have said, why give him a one-year contract if you really trust the man? Some have said, in football management, you have to earn it. So, you can look at it from both ways. I don't know where Kehinde Idris stands, and I'm going to ask him later. But pictures you have on screen, the eagerly anticipated event that a lot of people wanted to see. Finidi George right there in the middle. You had the NFF president and the sports minister, John Eno. Finidi sandwiched in between both of them. And of course, signaling that the helm, Finidi is now at the helm. He's going to be in charge. He's going to be saddled with the responsibility of qualifying the Super Eagles for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, 2025 African Cup of Nations, and of course, he has said he can get the job done. Let's take some reactions from the unveiling. We'll listen to Finidi George later, but let's listen to what the critical stakeholders had to say at the moment of the unveiling and signing of the contract.
We'll support Finidi. We'll give him whatever he needed to work, and the issue of paying his salary will not be a problem by the grace of God. We are going to do our best to make sure that we support him.
I want to say I'm grateful to be standing here for this great opportunity given to me to manage the Super Eagles. I think it's not an easy job for anybody. For me, it's just to start working immediately, which I've been doing even before signing this contract.
All right, Finidi George there, LFF president there. Your immediate reaction, I know, look, issues around the Super Eagles divides opinion. And unfortunately for me, we've not had any conversation around this, so I don't even know where you stand. But what do you think happened?
I think common sense happened, starting from the fact that I think Finidi George is an easier pick. He's been in around the team, went to the AFCON.
It's the obvious choice.
It's the obvious choice. And because I was there on ground in Cote d'Ivoire, I saw how close Finidi George was with these boys. I saw how these boys gave him utmost respect. I saw how he, time and time again, was dishing out technical advices during game, off game, in their hotel and all of that. That tells you this man is so...
Okay. I need to pause you now. Let me allow you to continue with your train of thoughts. You were talking about Finidi being the obvious choice. Yeah. Some people said common sense prevailed.
Yeah.
Like
I said so too.
It divides opinion.
Yeah.
But so, continue what you were.
After seeing all of that, how Finidi is close to the team, how gifted he is, there is another angle that I've painted here. So many of these coaches we go to, Geno Raw, Jose Pesero, at the time we wanted to get Paul Le Guin and all of that. Go and check their CV. Renard. Go and check their CV. They start from home. That is the first place you get your chance. It is always hard for people abroad to trust you, but those at home, you're close to this team and all of that. Finidi George has proven himself at home. With Enyimba, we know how much of a struggle it was 2 seasons ago, where he complained about officiating and all of that. But come last season, he got the job done. This season, Finidi George is still in the running with Enyimba to win the league. Now, this man has proven himself at home. We're talking about the local team, the Super Eagles. Yes, you can say it's about, the global setting. He has proven that he can be with the team. He can dish out technical, ideas. He has also shown that he can take boys for 50, 60 games and do something very spectacular. Also, he is. I don't know what their contractual terms for others, but Finidi looks like the cheapest of them all. Why did I say that? Finidi is already in the setup. Hey, bro. It's like you having your employee, you want to elevate one, you want to bring in another. Trust me, no matter how much of an expert the one inside is, elevating that person is cheaper than bringing somebody from outside. And I think that also did play. Then, this is the time we're talking about the local coaches have done this, have done that. It is a time to give them a chance. Hear me? Eventually they got a chance, but that wasn't the mind-blowing thing for me until I heard the contractual terms. Now, the biggest angle, not the money, not this, is the assistant coaches. For the first time, I'm not hearing the regular names you hear. When you hear local coaches, so-so name, this one is attached to this. These are guys who have their job. There is a match analyst in there. The guy is from Russia.
Kenny, let me pause you. Austin is with us now. Austin joins us now, and good to see you, Austin. Thanks for making it. I know it's been a busy day for you, but you met us talking about trying to address the elephant in the room. So just take it from there.
It's one of the great things to hear, man. Of course, everyone joining us on the show tonight. Yes, Finidi George being confirmed and unveiled as Super Eagles' new head coach. We talked about this, I think, last week when that announcement was done. I totally agree with Kehinde Idris in terms of costing the risk associated with getting a new coach. The Nigeria Football Federation just had to settle for the risk that they know, and that's Finidi George. His expertise cannot be questioned. His footballing experience cannot be questioned. I feel he's an intelligent manager. He just needs to walk around with the players and the assistants that he has picked. Yes, again, there's been talks about the choice of Daniel Amokachi as an assistant. Look, Daniel Amokachi is big in football. He's vast in football. He reads the football game. He interprets the football game. I do not know much about Benjamin James, but he's got some good, footballing experience and coaching from Germany. All of this we can put together, and with Finidi George being at the head of the affairs, who has understood what it means to lead the Super Eagles. He has worked with Jose Pizarro. I think what we need right now is to operate with a philosophy of optimism. Everyone gives him the sort of support that he needs to excel. His assignment is simple. It's straightforward. We need to qualify for the next AFCON and, of course, the World Cup in 2026. I totally have this confidence of Finidi George that he can get the job done. But in terms of management, the NFF part, the players part, that's where I have some questions. I just hope that it doesn't become a big barrier to his performance as coach of the Super Eagles. You know what I mean?
Before I get back to Idris, I want to ask you, I'm speaking out loud the thoughts of a lot of people. Being a good footballer, being an influential person, and all of that, doesn't necessarily translate to being a good coach. And see, not just you, I hear a lot of people, when they want to make a defense for the appointment, make a defense for the choice of assistants, and the things they say, oh, this person is influential, this person has played the game to the highest level, they will respect him, all that. That you and I know doesn't translate to being good on the job. And this job is result-based. You know, so I know you already know where I'm going. It's result-based. So looking at that background, is this a risk?
Yeah, it is a risk, but it's not. If it's about Daniel Amokachi, I think he's got some coaching certification. It was also, I think it was part of the last CAF coaching, certification that was done. And Daniel Amokachi has been there, done that. Look, experience counts in this thing. It's like leadership, So Daniel Amokachi has worked with the big coaches in Nigeria. God bless their souls. The late Stephen Keshi and, of course, Amadou Shuaibu. And with working with Finidi, as long as there's no clash of egos, I think this is a fantastic combination. I think this is a fantastic team because Amokachi has got what it takes to, command respect among the players. It can actually be that fatherly figure that is needed. I totally agree with you that there are two different things entirely. When you were once a player, and then people are thinking that because of the experience you have, that makes you a coach. No, Amokachi has been doing his background coaching work. And of course, as I said earlier, the experience that he has with coaching past, Super Eagles teams is big and huge experience coming in for Finidi George to assist him. So yes, I don't know what people are going on and on about Amokachi's part of being, an assistant to Finidi George. But I think it's a fantastic addition. Yeah. I've been reading a lot about Benjamin James, and of course Barua. As I said, there's nothing we can do about it now. It's been announced. A player cannot be a coach. A coach cannot that hasn't played football before or even dealt with players is even worse. So let's just look at Amokachi's addition as something that will work well for Coach Finidi George and their quest to qualify Nigeria for the next World Cup.
All right, there are many angles to this thing, and we'll do our best with the time we have to take a look. Kaide is shaking his head and pointing at me. Obviously wants to say something, but he's going to have to say it after this break. We're going to go on a break right about now, but just to let our viewers know that, of course, when we return from that break on our DSTV platform, you will be seeing Inside the Niger Delta with Mahmoud Akuga, but on all our other platforms, you will still be on to Sports Tonight, where we will be dissecting all the issues relating to the Super Eagles and everything happening in the world of sports. We'll go on that break now. We'll return for more on Sports Tonight. Well, I've just received the news you don't want to receive if you're an Arsenal fan. I've just been told that Manchester City have gone a goal up. And I said at the start of the show, we will have to revert if something happens. We've always known that this game will decide a lot of things. And if it stays like this, Manchester City's destiny is in their own hands. But of course, still some time to play in the game. Austin is happening at your hands. So let me allow you say something. We'll get back to the Finidi George story because I know you're always monitoring this, even if you're on the show. For all the enterprise, for all the bravery of Tottenham, they've conceded.
Yeah, they've conceded, but it's not over. The easiest of goals that Erling Haaland will ever score. It was an easy tap-in after a low cross by Kevin De Bruyne to give Manchester City the lead at White Hart Lane. And right after that, Kevin De Bruyne got involved in a very rash tackle and is out of the game. So that might just change everything about this game. But at the moment, as you said, I can confirm it, that it's Tottenham 0, Manchester City 1.
All right. Well, let's not dwell on that now. We'll get back to the Finidi angle of everything. Kaide Idris, before we listen to Finidi George, we can have our different opinions, but I know Finidi George knows that all of us expect one thing, that he would raise a Super Eagles team that all of us will be willing to watch.
Yeah. And I think that's one angle I've preached to people. Yes, you can say we want results. Trust me, for every time the Super Eagles steps out, because of what we've known of the Super Eagles, we want them to win every day. In the words of Jose Pessoa, they say even in an inconsequential friendly, an average Nigerian wants Super Eagles to win. But I want to see a process. I want to see something completely different from what we've seen in the last, say, 6, 7, 8 years there about Geno Raw, Jose Pesero. Let's see a pattern that we can call a Finidi pattern, and then we move from there. And then also, even the qualifiers. The moment you play good football, good results will accompany that good football. And we have the personnels, the kind of players that we have, in our disposal right now, talking about, for Finidi, I think he can. If he can play good football, he has the personnel to do that. If he wants good results also with the good football, he has the personnel to do that. And I think, like Austin said, I have this very, very optimistic feeling about Finidi. Probably because of time spent with him one-on-one, how he can be very conservative. He's not the type who jumps at everything, reads so well. And when he coughs out anything, you understand this is in-depth. And I think that has given me a lot of confidence going forward.
All right. Let's listen to the man, Finidi George, on his plans to raise a formidable team for the Super Eagles.
I want to say I'm grateful to be standing here for this great opportunity given to me to manage the Super Eagles. I think it's not an easy job for anybody, but I'm so happy. I'm even short of words, For me, it's just to start working immediately, which I've been doing even before signing this contract. So I just want to say big thank you for this great opportunity, and I believe the God that has brought me here will make everything perfect.
All right, the words you would want to hear from a manager who's just been employed. Also, I know we need to move on, but before we do, speaking the minds of a lot of Nigerians, and look, a lot of people will say, Kehinde Idris just, as I was trying to make my mind known to him, it was quick to tell me that don't say that, we're not far off. But look, most times where we've had managers, especially indigenous managers, handle the national team, these ex-internationals, happened to Siasia, probably happened to a couple of them. Issues of, somebody had already lost a game, somebody had already drawn a game. And so at the end of the day, if they don't get the qualifier, they'll tell you, look, it was a poison chalice from the beginning. Now, my worry is, we've given this man the job, but is it on the wrong footing? But okay, Idris is quick to point out, look, we're not far off, so it shouldn't be an issue.
As I said, I don't think it's an issue, Yemi, because he was part of the setup with Pizarro. So he's been part of the journey. He knows the players. He understands the mission, and he agreed to it. It's a short-term contract. It's just for 1 year. And look, in this 1 year, you have to do this, and do that. And they are crucial games for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So he cannot come tomorrow and say, I did not start it. You were part of the setup. You knew what was going on. You accepted the contract. You're expected to, stabilize, whatever is going on in the team. You had an opportunity to play 2 friendly games. You lost one, you won one. The one that even won, Nigerian Star was the most important one. So Finidi George is in the right place at the right time to accept the job. Where I will agree with people a bit is with the choice of assistants. Was I said, look, there's nothing that can be done at the moment. That's why they're there to assist. And if you have a problem with those guys, go do your research and you'll see that they are actually deeply rooted in football. They're not just starting. They're not novice. They are not just getting into the conversation. So let's see the sort of blend, the sort of partnership that they all bring into this mission and make it a successful one. But yes, Yemi, this is entirely different. We didn't get a manager who left his team, and then now that he's gone, they now brought Finidi George to try to come and create some magic. Finidi George was with Coach Jose Pizarro. Finidi George was part of the qualifiers that we struggled against, I think, Zimbabwe and Cape Verde. So he knows the mission, And now that he is in charge, he understands that there are no more rooms for excuses. You need to get into the thing now and see ways that you can stabilize the ship, win games, and who knows, if you perform properly, the Nigeria Football Federation might just say, hey, why do we need to go look outside again? Let's just continue what we've had. So let's see what Coach Finidi George can do. I know all of these talks you'll be hearing in the media will make him contemplate, but you heard him clearly saying he knows the job that he has accepted. He understands that coaching the Super Eagles is a difficult job. Even your friends will start criticizing you when you don't do the right things. Even when you do the right things, if you don't do it the way they expect, they will still criticize you. He's a core professional, played football to the highest level. He understands pressure. I just hope they'll be able to handle it properly.
Yeah, I hope he does. I think at this point we need to move on. Probably have one or two things to say, but let's move on. We have other things to talk about. Kennedy Idris, you alluded to it at the beginning of the show. Rivers United. We were counting 5, we were counting 6, and we were quick to remind ourselves a game in hand is nothing unless you win it. And it turned out that the away fixtures have been very difficult for Rivers United against the backdrop of what just happened recently.
5 away games in 6 outstanding games. That's too much. And then, you're playing the likes of Kwara United. When you hear how Austin, wax lyrical about Kwara, you would understand the kind of magnitude. You're talking Sunshine. That place can be a fortress for any team, when you go to visit Sunshine. Now, tomorrow, you're playing Abia Warriors. That's a massive game. Abia Warriors have been one impressive team, especially at home, all season long. And this is what I'm saying. All of these teams Rivers United are to play would rest until the day of match. Rivers United had to play on the 12th, on the 15th, on the 18th. That's just 2 days interval in those games. That's too much. If it were to be a regular season, not like the league was stopped for you to play outstanding, they will complain.
They probably had a slim chance if it was like that. But with this one...
It is not. Your Abia Warriors had not done anything in the last 2 weeks. Just keep yourself fresh.
And they're playing at home.
And then you're carrying heavy legs to go play them in their own home. That's too much of a work to ask your team.
So you're not surprised?
I'm not surprised what is happening to them.
With the results,
I think
the away results.
Yes.
Let me see if Austin is surprised. I thought they would be able to pick 1 or 2. But at this rate, it looks like all the away games. So you can look at the league table and just know where they're going to be when the matches are done, because it looks like they might not pick anything from these away matches.
And I warned them, I said it right after that loss to Remo Stars, that 2-1 defeat. I said it's going to be tough for them. I even predicted that Rivers United was going to beat Niger Tornadoes. They didn't. They drew that one. They couldn't beat Kwara United. They've lost to Sunshine Stars, and now they're getting ready to play Abia Warriors. It's difficult. I think mentally they are not there. There's just something about competing with other teams. When you hear that this team went away and they did this, it kind of motivates you. But now it seems like it's just Rivers United versus a selected few, and that's why it's been so difficult for them. And it's not good because they've been winless in 4 consecutive NPFL matches, 3 losses and 1 draw, and this is happening for the first time in their careers since 2021. And this is Rivers United. I thought that with this opportunity, they can, get as much points as possible before the season comes back, and then find a way to, stay in a position to play continental football. I don't see that happening. I also don't see them beating Abia Warriors. If they do, I will be surprised. That means they will need to properly dig deep to get a win out of Abia Warriors. But from the game against Kwara United, I said it that this team will continue to struggle. Now they've lost to Sunshine Stars. They have Abia Warriors coming up, and that's a very, very difficult game. I know Stanley Guma and his technical team, they will be wondering what's going on with the team. But I said it when they were calling the league to pause for Rivers United to play these outstanding matches. I knew it was going to affect the team mentally, and that is what is happening.
And I was going to ask him if he thought Rivers United, I mean, there's no point asking because he said it, and that's why I'm worried. But look, we've always talked about this thing. You play on the continent this year, then the congestion and everything, you're not able to deal with it and you're not able to get on the continent. I think the only thing that has been able to maneuver, maybe a Yimba, but apart from that,
even Rivers have tried in recent years. They've been, returning to the continent, and I think they've learned over time. Look at their run in this year's Confederations Cup, and that's what going back and back again gives to you. You stumble, you fall, you crumble, and then you learn from all of that, and then you get back, projecting. But this. I'm not predicting anything, but if they don't return to the continent this time, I think it will be a sort of huge setback. You will now have to go after 2 seasons, now learn, it feels like you're starting again, and that's the worry. For all of these teams we rub shoulder against, and they tend to, put you down, are teams who go to the continent like every other day. And so they've learned everything they need to learn, like some 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago. And now they are just balling in an arena, in a terrain they know so well. And we're still struggling with all of that.
All right, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we get it right with our teams on the domestic scene. All right, let's yield to Austin now. I want to talk about the games to be played tomorrow, but any update from London with regards to Tottenham and Manchester City?
It's still Tottenham 0, Manchester City 1. But at the Spurs, they are pushing. They are looking for that equalizer. They need to win, because if they draw this game, it doesn't do anything to their campaign for qualifying for the Champions League. So they need to really win. At the moment, they are pushing. They forced Ederson to some saves, but that goal is not just coming. But I think that we're going to see some drama in this one. So let's just keep monitoring,
All right. Let me just quickly go across and 2 matches to be played tomorrow. And I said at the beginning, you'll be surprised to find Manchester United, Chelsea fighting for an Europa League spot. And, you expect them to just go and take it, but they are still fighting for it. Strange things happening in the English Premier League. Let me go across quickly and just talk about this. Tomorrow, Brighton will take on Chelsea. Manchester United will take on Newcastle. A lot of people have looked at this and said Chelsea might come out of this the better, because Manchester United and Newcastle probably might just cancel themselves out, and it favors Chelsea more if United win, because United will be slowing down Newcastle, and Chelsea will just go. Let me say this, my personal opinion. I feel that if Chelsea do not have any European commitment, they might be better off next season, because they will have chance to gel and focus on the league.
Yeah, I feel so too. But you can't tell that to a top team like Chelsea. They want to be in Europe, no matter.
Even if it's Europa.
Yes, even if it's Europa Conference.
Even if it's coming.
No matter how much of the struggle, there is something that Europe gives you. It makes you feel like you're part of the elite club. When you don't play in Europe, just feel like you're one of them. You're one of those mid-table teams, and I think Chelsea wants to return as quickly as they can to that. Looking at this, I think also the run of form favors Chelsea. Chelsea are like in a row now. They are like, they've got this mindset where we can do anything. And going to Brighton, to the Amex Stadium, I think already they have that feeling in their head that we can beat Brighton, especially recent showing of Brighton. They've not been spectacular. For Manchester United and Newcastle, I never believed these 2 clubs would be at this point where Chelsea will be the one having more of the advantage over them. But our reality faces us. It is what it is. I think the game looks like it will end in a draw, Man U, Newcastle, but if I am forced to tilt, I'll tilt towards Newcastle. I don't know. I think something needs to give way for Manchester United to realize there is a deep problem in this club, and we need to go deep to solve it.
All right. If you've been listening to banters, fans, and everything, 4 or 5 months ago, you would never believe that Chelsea has the potential, the opportunity to finish in a better position than United. Even the bravest person would not have thought so, but it looks like it might happen, Austin. It looks like it might happen.
It's looking that way, because Chelsea, they seem to be doing the right things. The other day we listened to Todd Bowley on the show, and he said that everything seems to be coming together for good now at Chelsea. And the way they are playing, you can tell they are fighting. They're scoring late goals. They're getting late swings. And, I said that the journey and from where they're coming, they have been through so much. yet they are finding a way to, get some relevance whenever we're talking about the English Premier League. Manchester United, who would have thought, particularly with everything that Eric Ten Hag promised right after Cristiano Ronaldo left, but things just seem to be falling apart. Now the game against Newcastle is a very difficult one for them. And with some pictures that we've seen right after the game against Arsenal, you could tell that United is not just struggling on the pitch alone. Off the pitch, a lot of administrative issues. And Cristiano Ronaldo mentioned, he tried to warn them that, look, if you don't fix those problems, it will come out and haunt you and also affect your performance on the field of play. And that's what we're seeing with Manchester United. So if you ask me, Chelsea stands a good chance. They've built momentum. The season is winding down. All they need to do is just sustain it, and they will definitely finish ahead of Manchester United.
All right, let's talk about the player for Manchester United, Rafael Varane. He has announced that at the end of the season, he will be leaving. Quick, your thoughts, Austin, because a lot of people feel, well, he's a high earner, and he's been injured most of the time. Good readers. But he came in with a lot of his reputation was very high, but I guess he's leaving with his head down somehow.
Not just Varane, there's also conversations that Casemiro also. So many things going wrong, at the moment at United that will not come out in the media until the season ends. But Rafael Varane comes with a lot of experience. When he was signed to Manchester United, they were so confident that he was going to bring in that, that solid structure at the back, and United become so solid and all of that. I don't blame Varane and everything that has happened to him at Manchester United. For players, if you get into a team and things aren't going the way you go, any little thing can affect you mentally because of the sort of fitness regime these players go through. Unfortunately, he didn't get to give what was expected of him at Manchester United, but nobody can come out and blame him. When people try to blame Casemiro, I kept saying to myself that, what were you expecting from these old guns? They've been there, done that, they've won trophies. You're bringing them into your team for other things. I'm sure they must have gotten that, probably with the sale of jerseys, advertising, and, other things behind the scenes. But for the game itself, with the way the team was performing, there's nothing these old guys can do. So, Varane calling it quick at the end of the season, no surprises. I'm waiting to hear more.
All right, Austin is waiting to hear. Who knows? Maybe Harry Maguire. We'll see. All right, let's spend a few minutes we have left. I wanted to talk about Euro 2024, but we'll save that for some other time. Kane Idris, Mike Tyson, Iron Mike Tyson. Look, I don't know what to say. He looks fast, he looks fit, but you can't look away from the fact that this man is close to 60.
Yeah.
And he still wants to be with the ring, but then again, people will tell you, who is he fighting with?
Yeah, who is he fighting? And it's an exhibition fight. You can't tell me this
Is it
fight,
a money grab? Is it a money grab?
It's a money grab. Everybody would love to watch Tyson once more. Now,
he's telling us, look, I'm still fit,
another
I'm fast.
thing that's bettered that, while he was in the corner of Francis Ngannou, we saw the times where they were sparring, and a lot of persons felt Mike Tyson still have it. And yes, if Mike Tyson wants to give us one last dance, we all want to see that dance happen. And yes, that is why this fight is going for as much as
I think he had one exhibition with, was it Roy Jones Jr. at some point?
Yeah.
And we saw that he still had the moves.
So so much. I think it was LeBron James who was talking about just recently that Mike Tyson was coming from his back, just hit him like, hey, James. And then he turned and was like, is it you who just did me? He said, yeah. He said, wow, Tyson, this heavy, so probably,
let me go to
Paul
Austin
will be the one
quickly.
to tell us.
This opponent, I think, fought with Floyd Mayweather at some point.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really a fight because it was grabbing and all that. And so, Austin, does this look to you like a money grab, or we're probably going to see a vintage? I don't think we'll ever see a vintage Mike Tyson. But that's what he's saying anyway. But do you think we'll see a vintage Mike Tyson?
I don't think so. I mean, it's not just a money grab; it's a money snatch and grab. Because these guys, just taking boxing to. I just say professional boxers and people who are into boxing don't really like this, but I want to commend Mike Tyson because of his passion for boxing. For Jake Paul, he's all for glamour, he's all for the money. it's all for, you know, promoting his personality. And I mean, anything he does with boxing at this stage with the exhibition is all for the money. But for Mike Tyson, I don't want him to get into that ring and then get disgraced or put in one type of show for Jake Paul, and then at the end of the day, the media is awash with Mike Tyson being beaten by Jake Paul and all of that. So I really don't know how to talk about this fight, because all of the fights that Jake Paul has been having in the past, I just look at it and I'm like, come on, what's going on? Why are they using boxing to do all of this? But it is what it is. It's all for promotion. It's exhibition, no belts on the line. Mike Tyson is a personality, he's a huge personality in boxing. Jake Paul is also a big name out there. So they just want to, you know, put something together with their names, you know, make some money out of it and entertain people. But what I don't want to see is that it gets so soft and then it's now looking like some WWE arrangement. No, it's not going to be good for boxing.
That's my worry, exactly. It looks like boxing's reputation is suffering of late, with a lot of people just crossing into the ring and making it look like anybody can be in the ring. But we'll see. We'll see with that one. I guess that's a much we can take, but let's allow Austin tell us if anything has changed with what's going on in London.
Nothing has changed. I mean, 88 minutes played in the game between Tottenham and Manchester City, and Erling Haaland's goal is still the difference. That goal scored in the 50th minute. Low cross sent in by Kevin De Bruyne. An easy tap in by Haaland. Tottenham, they are still pushing. As I said, a draw will mean nothing for them and their campaign in Europe. But, you know, they would just like to see what they can do. The Gunners will hope that that can also happen if it ends in a draw. It's a good one for Arsenal, and football fans in the United Kingdom will want to see the title race go down the wire. But as it is, it's advantage Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. That's the show in London. I'm Austin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember, let's keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, we've crossed the finish line. Before I go, I want to thank Kenny Idris for his time on the show. Hopefully, we'll do this again some other time.
Of course, looking forward to that.
All right, that's the show today. We hope you've enjoyed this. We'll do this again tomorrow. I'm Amy Adebayo. Bye-bye now.